Okay, so picture this. You push a snowball down a hill. It starts small, maybe the size of a baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You give it a little nudge, gravity does the rest. At first, it's just this unimpressive white lump tumbling down.
Right. It's not doing much.
Not at all. But then it picks up a layer of snow. And because it's slightly bigger now, the next time it rolls over, it has more surface area to grab even more snow.
And it gets heavier. It starts moving faster.
Exactly. By the time that thing hits the bottom of the hill, it's not a baseball anymore. It's a boulder. It's something that could crash right through a fence.
And you definitely do not want to be standing in its path.
That right there is the metaphor we're working with today. We're looking at a concept that I think most of us feel like we understand. We learned it in school.
Oh, yeah.
But very few people actually grasp the sheer magnitude of it. We're talking about the snowball effect.
Right. And to really get into the gears of this, we're looking at a source text called The Compounding Snowball, Wealth Through Time and Patience.
And we're zeroing in on one specific part, lesson #24, compound interest.
Mm-mm.
Now, I know what you're thinking, compound interest. I got this. It's interest on interest. But hang on, because the source makes this argument that I think is so crucial.
What's that?
It argues that while we know the definition, we don't respect the physics. So the mission for this deep dive isn't about stock tips or anything like that.
No.
It's to explore why time is actually a more powerful financial asset than money. It's about the math of patience.
The math of patience. I like that. And to illustrate it, the source gives us these two characters who really, they drive the whole lesson. We've got Sean and Annie.
And I'm glad they use characters because abstract math can get so dry.
Yeah.
But these two, they're basically the two voices in my head every single day.
They really are. Sean is the rational economist. He's obsessed with exponential growth. He sees the calendar as a tool.
And Annie is. Well, she's all of us, right?
Yeah.
She's skeptical. She's looking at her rent, her loans, her bank account, and she's thinking, investing is for rich people. I'll do it later when I've made it.
Exactly. Annie thinks you need capital to create wealth. Sean's whole argument is that you need time to create wealth. And that tension is what we're going to dig into.
So before we get to Sean and Annie's big fight, we have to lay the groundwork. The source starts with the basic mechanics, simple interest versus compound interest.
And it calls compound interest the eighth wonder of the world.
Which is a bit dramatic, maybe, but let's see if the math actually holds up.
Well, the mechanics are pretty wild. So simple interest is linear. You put your money in, that's your principal, and you earn interest only on that original amount.
So if a bond pays you $50 a year, it pays you $50 a year forever. It's a flat line.
It's a flat line. It's safe, but it's static. Compound interest is dynamic. It's where the interest you earned gets added back to the pile.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the key. In the next period, that whole new, bigger sum starts earning interest.
Let's use the numbers from the text because I think seeing it helps. They use a simple $1,000 example.
Yeah. So you invest $1,000 at a 10% return. After year one, you've got $1,100. $100 in profit.
Okay, simple enough. If this is simple interest year two, I'd get another $100.
Correct. But with compound interest, the calculation for year two is on the full $1,100. So you earn $110.
Okay, so I made an extra $10. It's not exactly a boulder yet. That feels like a rounding error.
And that is exactly where most people tune out. They see the $10 difference and think, who cares?
Yeah.
But the source makes this brilliant point that $10 didn't come from your job. It didn't come from your labor.
It came from my money's labor.
Your money went out and got a job. The $100 you earn in year one started working for you.
So the snowball effect isn't about the cash you keep adding. It's about the surface area of the snowball itself just getting bigger and bigger.
Precisely. As it rolls, it grabs more snow just because it exists. It's a feedback loop.
Which brings us right to the main conflict, the cost of waiting. This is where Sean and Annie get into it. And honestly, I have to push back a little here because Annie has a really good point.
What's her argument?
Her argument is just reality. She's saying, Sean, that's cute, but I'm 23. I have an entry-level salary and my rent is insane. I'll start investing when I'm 40 and making real money.
And that sounds responsible, or...
It sounds totally responsible.
It's that classic line, I'll catch up later when I have a bigger shovel. But Sean, our cold, rational economist, he runs a calculation that shows Annie is walking straight into a trap.
This is the early starter versus late starter scenario. I read this part like 3 times because the result just doesn't feel fair.
It's completely counterintuitive. Let's just break it down. You have person A, we'll call him early Sean. He starts investing at age 20. But he's young, he's broke.
Right.
So he can only scrape together $100 a month.
Which, at 20, is still painful. That's a few nights out you're skipping.
For sure. So, $100 a month. Now, take person B late Annie. She waits until she's 40. She's established, she's got a good job title. She decides to get serious.
Okay.
She starts investing $500 a month.
So wait, she's putting in 5 times as much money every single month. She is objectively working 5 times harder at this.
She is. She's hauling buckets of water to Sean's teaspoon. But here's the reveal. Sean runs the numbers out to retirement age, let's say 65. Who has more money?
I mean, logic says it has to be Annie. She's pouring in so much more cash.
Logic loses to the exponent. The person who started at 20 with just $100 a month ends up significantly wealthier.
That is infuriating. It feels like the system is rigged.
It is rigged. It's rigged in favor of time. The source has this key thought right here. It says, your main ally in wealth creation is not your paycheck, but the calendar.
But doesn't that just diminish the value of working hard? I mean, Annie is grinding away at 40.
It redefines what the hard work is. The source argues the hard part isn't earning the money, it's the patience. Sean's snowball had a 45-year hill to roll down. Annie's snowball, even though she packed it super tight at the start, it only had a 25-year hill. It just ran out of slope.
And so the slope matters more than the snow you start with.
That's the whole takeaway. If you're listening to this and you are 20 or 25, you are holding an asset that a 50-year-old billionaire cannot buy from you. You have time.
Okay, let's flip this. What if you were that 20-year-old who is genuinely broke? Annie's other objection is, I literally do not have the money.
And this is where we get to the coffee rule.
Oh, boy. The coffee rule, I have to say, this example has been beaten to death. You know, every finance guru yells about lattes. It feels a little like you're poor because you like caffeine.
I agree. The don't buy coffee trope is tired if you take it literally. But the source asks us to look past the actual coffee. It's not about the beverage. It's about the magic of small numbers.
It's about the leak.
The frequency of the leak, exactly.
Okay, so sell me on the math, not the guilt trip.
Sean points out that Annie has these small daily leaks. A taxi, a snack, a coffee. He just pegs it at, say, $5 a day.
Which feels like nothing. You tap your card, you don't even think about it. It's invisible money.
It's invisible in the moment. But Sean projects that $5 a day out over 30 years, assuming a 10% return.
So $5 a day is about $150 a month.
Roughly, yeah. So 30 years, $5 a day. What do you think the final number is?
I don't know. If you just saved it as cash, it's maybe 50 grand with interest.
Yeah.
Double it, 100,000.
It's $300,000.
Or get out.
$300,000 from a fiver.
No. Seriously. Okay, that number is shocking, but I have to play skeptic again. 300 grand in 30 years isn't going to buy what it buys today. You know, inflation is real.
That is a completely valid critique. But the source's counter-argument is psychological. It's not about the exact purchasing power. It's about what it calls the refusal of capital.
Refusal of capital. That sounds serious.
It's a mindset shift. The text argues that when you spend $5 on an impulse, you aren't just spending $5.
You're destroying the future value.
You are actively deleting $300,000 of future safety from your own account.
That is a terrifying way to look at a coffee shop menu.
It's meant to be. It raises the stakes. It forces you to ask, is this muffin actually worth $300,000 to me? And the answer is usually no.
It moves the focus from, I can't have this, to, I'd rather have the boulder.
Yes. You're not depriving yourself. You're allocating your resources. And the reason this all works, the engine under the hood, is the actual formula.
Right. I joked about the nerdy stuff earlier, but I think we actually need to see it. Because saying it grows is one thing, but seeing how it grows is another.
Okay, so the formula is A equals P times 1 plus R over N, all raised to the power of N times T.
Whoa, okay. Let's translate that into English.
For sure. A is a final amount, that's the boulder. P is the principal, the snowball you start with. R is the rate of return, N is how often it compounds, and T is time.
Okay, so a bunch of variables. But just looking at the equation, they're not all created equal, are they?
Not at all. And this is the most critical insight. Notice where the letters are. P, your money, is a multiplier. If you double your money, you double your result.
It's a one-to-one relationship. Linear.
It's linear, but look at T. Look at time. Where's it sitting?
It's the exponent. It's that little number floating up at the top.
Exactly. And in math, the exponent is the powerhouse. It doesn't just multiply, it powers. A small change in T has a massive, disproportionate impact on A.
And that's why the 20-year-old beat the 40-year-old.
Yes.
The 40-year-old had a huge principle, but the 20-year-old had a huge T, time, and the exponent always wins.
The exponent always wins, and this is what creates that visual the source describes. The curve. If you graph this, what does it look like?
It's a hockey stick.
It's a hockey stick. But think about the handle of that stick. For the first 5, 10, maybe even 15 years, the line is almost totally flat.
This is the danger zone. This is where Annie quits.
It's what they call the valley of disappointment. You're saving, you're skipping the coffee, you're doing everything right, and you have almost nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and you look at your friend who bought the nice car and you think, why am I even bothering? This isn't working.
But the math is working. It's just coiling like a spring. The source emphasizes that exponential growth is so deceptive. It looks like nothing, 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 and then suddenly it goes vertical.
The book mentions Warren Buffett, that most of his wealth, the vast majority, came after his 60th birthday.
That's the classic real-world example. I think something like 99% of his net worth came after he turned 50. Not because he got smarter, but because the snowball finally hit the really steep part of the curve. The 10th variable did all the heavy lifting.
So it's like the first 20 years of saving are just the price you pay to get to the last 20 years.
That is a perfect way to put it. You pay with patience now to buy the explosion later.
Okay, so we've covered the mechanics, the early versus late starter, the coffee rule. If you step back, what's the big takeaway? Because it feels like more than just save more money.
It is more. I think it's 3 things. First, just respect the exponent. Understand that time isn't passive. It's an active force multiplier in your finances.
A second?
Reframe that coffee roll. It's not about being cheap. It's about plugging leaks. That frequency, the N in our formula, it matters. A daily habit of spending can destroy wealth just as effectively as a daily habit of saving can build it.
And the third?
I think it's the resolution of that Sean and Annie conflict. The source is telling us that you don't need to be rich to get rich.
That's the paradox.
It is. Annie thinks she needs money to invest. Sean proves you need to invest to get money. The barrier to entry isn't your salary, it's your discipline.
It's about getting rid of that excuse that I'm not ready yet. If you have time, you are more ready than someone with $1 million and no time. So we want to leave you with a challenge. And we're going to borrow this right from the source's philosophy on that refusal of capital.
The next time you're standing in line, you're about to tap your card for something you don't really need. A gadget, an app, that third drink. Just do the mental math.
Don't look at the $10 price tag. Think about what that $10 is going to be in 30 years.
And ask yourself, is this item worth the thousands of dollars it is stealing from my future freedom?
Now, if the answer is yes, if that experience is genuinely worth that much to you, then buy it. Enjoy it. This isn't about living in a cave.
But if the answer is no, just let the snowball roll.
Let it roll. Thanks for deep diving with us.
See you next time.